Hi, y'all. I have another fuck around and find out story. Okay, so now it's post inauguration. We are now starting to see the effects of certain policies. So here locally in the Kansas City area, just reading up on the local news, it turns out with the federal government, cleansing that Elon Musk wants to do. Right now in the local Kansas City area, they're talking about almost 30,000 people up to are at risk of losing their jobs. Do you know how catastrophic that is? And this is the thing though, like I also have a cousin who works for the FBI. Now the FBI is kind of like the military where they pride themselves in being like apolitical, and he works with people from different backgrounds, different political schemes, and he's right in the center of this. And the thing is this, one thing that he said was this, is not that some of these people who voted for certain policies are not educated. It's not that they're not smart. It's not that they're necessarily like ignorant. It's something within themselves that is attracted to that, and all logic goes out the window. And now, right now, with everything going on with the FBI and with the government restructuring that Elon Musk wants to do, he has his coworkers at risk of losing everything that they work for their careers. Because the government, people don't tend to necessarily make a whole bunch of money in the private sector, but the government is known for having pensions and job stability and security. And that was one of the benefits of being a government employee. That is about to be eradicated. And also what people don't understand is this: the government has always been pivotal in us having a middle class in America. The attack on the government hiring or federal government grants is attack on the middle class. And unfortunately, some people are just not getting it, and they just start finding out. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Bye.
Welcome back to AI Crystal, your go-to channel for deep analysis, smart conversation, and real-world insights into what's really happening in our society and systems. First off, we want to say a huge thank you to all our returning subscribers. You make this community possible. If you're new here, don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe so you never miss a critical conversation. Now let's get into it. Today we're taking a critical deep dive into a pressing issue that's making waves across the country: federal worker layoffs.
I think everything that's happening right now with the mass federal layoffs, especially those affected in the tech sector, it's just a little scary right now. Definitely feel for the people who were affected by the most recent layoffs, especially because the government was always seen as a place of like security and stability. For anyone who was recently affected, I will just say first, take the time that you need. Even with the severance involved, a layoff can just feel like a huge hit. So there's 4 tips I'm going to give. The first one is reframe your skills for the private sector. 2, if you haven't already, start building and expanding your network. Reach out to people on LinkedIn, let them know your situation, see if they have opportunities to help. 3, you have to upskill. The market is super competitive right now, even in the private sector. With all these layoffs, you have so many people flooding the market, so you got to do what you got to do to stand out. And lastly, just see this as an opportunity for higher career growth and a better salary.
With over 200,000 federal employees now being laid off, we will all feel it, and here is why. Laid off federal employees will flood the private sector, which means it'll be a lot harder for everyone to get hired. As a result, some of these companies won't even be willing to negotiate a job offer because they feel like someone else will take that. Let's also talk about the longer wait times for tax returns, Social Security. Fewer workers means more of a delay. And if you already do have a job, some of us may face harsher treatments. A toxic job will make you feel like you're easily replaced, especially since there's more people willing to take your spots. So this mass layoff will affect all of us, but what are your thoughts? Do you feel like the government has the right to cut all these jobs? I'm curious to know. Drop it down in the comments.
There's been all these federal layoffs, and the 2 that I'm talking about in particular are the CFPB and the FTC. And since those companies are companies that typically have your back when you are one who is disputing, trying to get accounts off your credit report, or if you're somebody who has things on your credit report that really are not yours, these are the companies that have your back and will fight for you to get those items off your credit report. But there are a lot of layoffs happening, and with that being said, it's very important that your verbiage is on point, because it is a lot harder to get items off your credit report by doing what you used to do. A lot of stuff is just getting tossed to the side, so it's very important to make sure that your dispute stands out. You know exactly what you're talking about. You're going to need to utilize the laws. That way your dispute still gets worked on and you still get the deletions. So if your stuff keeps coming back verified, you have to switch it up in order for you to get those deletions.
So I'm here at the VA again because this is where I work. Change that. I worked past tense because right now it's 2 o'clock and I just got notified that my position is no longer valid. And so I am going to go turn in my laptop and go home. Again, my performance was not good enough, even though when I talked to my boss, they absolutely, everybody I work with, including my boss, absolutely loved the work I was doing. But it was nice being here, helping out veterans every day, day in and day out, and doing a good job for my fellow patriots. It sucks, you know. I'm not a Trump supporter, never have been, definitely never will be. But yeah, this is definitely taking a meat cleaver to the entire federal government. And I know my specific position, I was helping veterans and their families seek end-of-life services, mainly making burial arrangements on their behalf, and actually doing funeral services for them. So yeah, it was actually a rewarding job, and look forward to having a good career doing something impactful. And I guess that's just not going to happen. So I'm going to go turn in my laptop and call it a day. And so I just wanted to say again, thank you, Trump. Thank you, President Musk. Let's make America great again, and fire everybody who is a hardworking, you know, somebody who just wants to do a good job for your country, and be a good employee and help out. So yep, going home, and wish me luck in the job hunt.
Let's discuss how these mass federal terminations and layoffs are going to affect the job market and what that's going to mean for job seekers. So for one, you are going to have an increased number of applicants entering in private and nonprofit sectors from federal service, and it's going to make the job market extremely competitive. Now, if you are entry level, or if you are, you know, mid-level, or even executive level, this is going to impact everyone, because now you have all of these senior executives and highly skilled federal employees with lots of degrees, lots of experience entering the market. I don't think people understand how rigorous federal hiring is, and most federal jobs require some form of degree. Not all of them, but most of them do. So now you have these people who are displaced out of federal service going back into private sector. Organizations and companies are going to start increasing the qualifications for applicants. And recruiters are going to start looking for more than just maybe a certificate or certification in certain career fields that once was skating by. That's not going to be the case anymore. So the next impact that you're going to see is with salary negotiations. And what I mean by that is, everybody knows public sector, you make far less than you do in private sector. So I'm a GS-12. I make $90,000 a year, which is good money. But I know for the amount of money that I handle and control with M's and B's, I could be making 150, close to 2. Now, if I go into private sector and I ask for $120,000, that's good money. That's a $30,000 pay increase. Whereas you would have probably been asking for that 150 or 175 salary. The company's winning by picking me because I'm like 150 and save them $25,000. So you see how that is going to impact, because federal workers are already making less money. So any type of pay increase is going to benefit them. And then for like consulting and those companies that have contracts with federal government, now that federal employees will be getting out of public service or public sector, they can go and work with these consulting firms because they know the ins and outs. And who do you think they're going to be more willing to hire? Somebody who already has the knowledge, or somebody who they have to teach the knowledge? So we're going to see a increased impact in competitiveness across the market. And I would love for somebody maybe to do an economic study or data analysis in like the next 6 months to see what hiring is looking like now that you have an influx of public sector workers moving into the private sector.
We're seeing increased discussions and in some cases, actions around federal workforce reductions. These layoffs are being justified by budget cuts, restructuring, or shifts in agency priorities. But we have to ask, is this really about efficiency? Or is there a deeper political or economic agenda at play? Who benefits when federal agencies are downsized and who suffers the consequences? The real-world impact. Layoffs at the federal level don't just affect bureaucrats in D.C. They affect veterans relying on the VA, low-income families depending on HUD, scientific research, public health services, and more. Let's break it down. Agencies like the EPA, CDC, and Education Department have seen staffing threats or real cuts. This can mean slower services, weaker oversight, and longer wait times for everyday citizens. The most vulnerable communities often get hit the hardest. The human side of layoffs. Behind every layoff is a person, a public servant with decades of experience, a parent supporting their family, someone who chose to serve the country not for profit, but for purpose. This isn't just a stat. It's a story, and that story deserves to be heard. The bigger picture. Federal worker layoffs could signal a larger ideological shift. Less government involvement, more privatization, and a slow erosion of public trust in institutions. So, ask yourself, are these layoffs necessary or are they strategic moves to shrink the role of government? Let's talk about it. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you been affected or know someone who has? Your voice matters. And remember, like, share, and subscribe to AI Crystal for more deep dives like this. We're not just reporting, we're revealing. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and stay critical. This is AI Crystal, where the truth gets a voice.